second. All right. We are oh, Meiji. Oh, I can't click the screen from there. There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. We should be live now. As long as I didn't mess it up.
I'm trying to bring it up on my phone so I can see. Yep, it's working. Jesus Christ. My volume was all the way up for some reason.
All right. We are in. We are live. Time to post to all the socials. All right. I think we're good. Hi. Hello. Welcome in. Oh, I should start recording this shit, huh? You guys can talk. Banter. Say stuff.
I don't know why, but Twitch is showing your other screen as you're
I know
pressing
it shouldn't be
record right
doing it, but it does.
Quick, guys, fill time.
now.
I was just about to finish Cyberpunk again, going for the ending where you and Johnny attack Arasaka together. Finally got him. The level 50. Everything level 50, ready to attack it. I don't know if I could do it. I hope I can. I don't know if we could do it. I tried it before and we was getting our asses kicked.
Is that the ending where if you die once, that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The first time I tried it, I couldn't even get out the lobby. Like, I killed the first few dudes, but then the mechs came in, and it was over. We was just getting smacked up.
Easy mode.
Well, it's probably still really hard in easy mode.
I did it on easy mode, but I did it on easy mode the first time.
You play on normal?
I couldn't do it. Normally do normal, but I tried it on easy. It didn't matter. It was still deadly. Still deadly.
My best friend Eileen just told me that this morning that because she's playing Nomad V, and she said she feels Nomad V has to do that ending because you're like, Arasaka took everything from me. I'm gonna take everything from you. So I'm gonna blow you all up. So she's done all that. She said she's about ready to hit them as well. She's trying to level up everything. And
Don't you have to have done certain things throughout the game though to get that ending?
Yeah, you got to do some certain stuff.
Yeah. You pretty much got to be cool with Johnny the whole game, and then especially when you get to his burial ground, you have to like tell him, "Hey, you saved my life. This your last chance. All right, I'll give you another chance," and then help him with Rogue and all that. And then when you get to where you got to take the pills at the end, you got to tell him, "Hey, go with Rogue," and then he'll say, "You sure?" And you got to literally wait 5 minutes, and then he'll say, "Hey, there's another idea. Why don't we just attack the tower together?" And then that's what you do it. It'll send you right there, and it's just chaos. I hope I could do it. I'm gonna try that shit. I grabbed my beer, I was ready to load it up, and then I seen this. I was like, fuck it, I ain't doing it.
What gun are you using?
I've been shoddy and katana blade, but I'm grabbing the big ass machine gun and the sniper. I'm grabbing whatever guns I can when I go in there, just in case. I got hella grenades, and I just got the cyber psychosis hack where you can have them kill each other. So I'm about to, oh man, I'm about to go crazy.
That'll be good.
I just got
the suicide. Yeah, I just got the suicide cyber hack, and that was crazy. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah,
it takes so much. Takes so much ROM. You might as well just not use it.
There's a tech rifle that you can charge up, and it just wastes things on easy mode, at least.
I like the Mantis.
Pretty good.
Okay. I think we're officially good to go. Oh. I guess I could. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Ship. I am Jennasis, the girl who is Very happy that her AC is finally working the way that it should because 100-degree weather in Portland is bonkers, and not having AC in my house was horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
So I've been
and
in
I'm
Texas.
Virvada. The girl who is melting just thinking about that. I used to live without AC when I lived in Hawaii because everyone was like, "Oh, the trade winds." No, they don't. They come like 2 weeks a year. The rest of the year, you're sweltering. It's so stupid. So I need AC. I'm sorry. Now I live in Florida where you walk outside and it's like getting hit with a hot, wet towel. I don't like it. I'm not used to it. I'm used to like dry weather, dry air. Not out here. Mm-mm.
Right. Well, let's go around the room and say hello to everybody. We've definitely got some familiar faces with us here tonight and a new one. Apollo, you are at the top of the screen.
Hello. I support this air conditioning love, being from Florida.
Shanko, welcome back.
Hello again from Florida also, so I completely feel the getting slapped in the face with a wet towel thing.
And Stone Mystios.
Hello there. From Texas, it's hot every day. Just dry, 100-degree weather every day.
Ugh. No, thank you. No, thank you at all. Meiji. Meiji Moo.
What's up? 86 degrees and sunny in California. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Mm.
Ugh.
See, I'm from Los Angeles, so that just makes me jealous. I miss it so much. But yeah. I mean, it's only like 75 right now, but you go outside, it's something I've never experienced where you walk outside and your glasses immediately fog up. I'm like, what? What? What is this? There's water in the air? I don't know what that is.
It is
So
7:30
cute.
p.m. and 93 degrees outside. Oh my God. No.
When's in the
Climate
chat?
change
It's
is real.
99 in Washington. That's where I'm moving next year, Washington. So good to know it's not going to be any different. I guess maybe less humidity.
She's a little bit further north than where you're going, but yeah. Oh, so tonight's topic, I don't know if we were specifically clear on this one because it came up in conversation that I had earlier. But so the way that I read it was that would you prefer your NPCs to be player sexual or have a defined sexuality, not your own personal character player? I think like pretty solidly we can all agree on the fact that your person, your NPC or your PC should not have a defined sexuality, right? If an open romance options are available, you shouldn't be pigeonholed into one way. Or does anybody have a counter to that?
Nah,
I'm gonna need pretend that I'm 5 years old. I need a breakdown of what this question is because I don't understand it at all.
Oh, yeah. So, player sexual. Uh-oh, we just lost V. Okay, she froze.
Uh-oh.
She'll come back. So, a player sexual character is somebody who does not have a defined sexual identity, who they're attracted to. And it is based on everyone is attracted to the NP to your player character. So their sexuality is you. It's not like, oh, I
Right.
like men, or I only like women, or I like anything in between, or I like everything and all things. Um, they
Mhm.
have, they are attracted to you. They don't ever really show signs of being attracted to other NPCs or anything like that. And then a defined sexual identity is, of course, a, a defined sexual identity. Hetero,
Okay, yeah. I think
homo.
it was that first part that was tripping me up. I got it.
Yeah. So it's like the only real RPG that I can think of where your player character has a choice between who to romance and then has a set sexual identity is Geralt of Rivia. because he is a straight man who only romances women, and that's your only option to play as. And I don't mind that. I wish Geralt was gay, because that would definitely bring in a lot more options in the brothel. But if it's a player character that you create, you define, you model them after yourself or whoever else you want, I think we can all agree that they should not have a defined sexuality. Okay.
Yes.
So now let's get into the meat of the conversation and talk about NPCs. Cat.
Non-playable cats.
Non-playable cat. Yes. The
Wish
mind
I
of
could
our
grab my
own.
scorpion like that.
Jenko, where's the snake? We need Lucifer back on screen.
He's in the other room. I mean, I can go get him if we really want to see him.
Maybe in the mid-break.
Yeah, because a day doesn't go by that I don't want to see Lucifer.
So many levels.
I'll show y'all Riddick as well.
Does anybody have like a very dying stance on this that they want to take? Anybody want? Jenko, your hand popped straight up.
I know when I'm playing a game, it incentivizes multiple playthroughs, at least for me, if certain characters are not inherently attracted to my player character. I know, especially with Mass Effect, Dragon Age, the RPGs that I think all of us kind of enjoy, well, just a little bit. If every single character was just attracted to the player character, that doesn't really make me want to go back to play a game in order to experience different romances. I would probably just make a save within one save file and then go back and try each romance with the same character instead of going through again as a different gender or a different a different alignment as far as morality in order to romance certain characters.
That makes a lot of sense to me and is kind of aligned with how I feel. Because I like having I like having the definition there. But I want to get more opinions from other people before I go off on my tirade.
I
yeah.
I never really thought about the term player sexual before till like a few months ago when one of y'all guests brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I come to think of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where with Cassandra, everybody's attracted to Cassandra. But I always figured it was just because it's ancient Greece and everybody's horny. But I appreciate in that game where you can go through and romance everybody. And I like that. It doesn't, I don't know, at least with that game, I don't feel like it should have been everybody specifically attracted to certain people. I like that everybody's attracted to Cassandra or Alexios. I appreciate that. But like with like Cyberpunk, I wish that there was more options where it just feel like V is the only bisexual character, even though Carrie technically is, but everybody else is either straight or gay. I don't know. That game, maybe that could have used a little bit of player sexual within it. But I don't mind it for the most part if a game isn't player sexual.
I feel like tonight's topic is going to be a little bit more of us all talking together. So feel free to unmute and respond and play off of each other. Jump in when you feel like it. Because this isn't really a individual story topic tonight. It's more of a let's debate and talk this out.
I think I'm pretty much lined up with what Shenko said because, and kind of what Missio said. I did enjoy an Odyssey that I could just sleep with everybody. Anybody that gave me the option, I could just sleep with them. But I didn't play through a second time. I put in a ton of hours in it the first playthrough, but I won't play through it a second time because there's nothing else to do. Other games, like even Cyberpunk, that you're limited options, but I've played through it multiple times just to get the romance, to romance everybody. Same thing with Mass Effect. The inability to sleep with everybody in one playthrough gives you a reason to come back and play it again.
I agree. Because with Andromeda, I kind of played that way also. I was like, I can sleep with 3 people in one playthrough. And so I did. And what's my major incentive to go back and do it the other way? Now, I do actually plan on playing a Scott playthrough because I do like the fact that the storyline changes and some of the dialogue options and things change. It's why I play both female shepherd, male shepherd, and then I have my next Dragon Age playthrough. I'm gonna play as a full male run, going through all of that. Um, so yeah, I like the idea of defined sexuality.
I guess this is like my main takeaway, like, or like my main opinion here is that having the characters, not only the player character, but NPCs have like sort of defined sexualities, um, it makes the story sort of feel like it's predetermined a little bit. You know what I mean? So like if everyone is like if any NPC can be attracted to the player character, then it kind of feels like, well, then these characters are like malleable a little bit. They're not like their own people that are just attracted to, you know what I mean? Like it feels like a little wish-washy of like, well, if you're playing this character, you know, they might be attracted to you. Maybe they're, you know, I feel like it just makes the characters more believable if they have their own like sexualities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From a writing perspective.
But also like a player perspective. I feel like player sexual, it's honestly hard to come up with an example of a true player sexual game because I feel like most characters that are romanceable do have a defined sexuality, especially in newer games that are coming out, but like it does make it more real and it almost feels egotistical to have it be player sexual, you know? It's like they just exist as a sex object essentially. Like they don't have their own motivations. They're just there to please you essentially as the player. And it's nice because like I was reading when I was doing some minimal research for this episode. Um, there was someone who shared their story about playing Inquisition for the first time, and they were a male Inquisitor and they wanted to romance Sarah, but they found out once they got to talking with her that she was strictly a lesbian and they were like, actually, instead of making that annoying, that was actually cool because we ended up being friends. And like it felt like Sarah was a real person because she had a life outside of me. And that's like the whole point. That's what I think is great. Because they when you turn off the game, you think of these characters as people because they are just like people. They're written with all of our stuff that we have, you know, who in reality is like player sexual, you know, doesn't
Uh,
really exist in real life.
yeah, I think your question about like a recent game where it is player sexual, Dragon Age 2 comes to mind. Because all of the romance options are available to either a female hawk or a male hawk.
Yeah. I forgot that because I played it like one time right after boot camp. So I guess I didn't think of that as recent because that feels like an entirely different life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is recent, I guess.
And then you also talked about Odyssey, right? Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
Odyssey is also like that.
Yeah. It just feels like overwhelmingly most games that offer a romance choice, they do have defined sexualities. And I feel like that's because, I mean, I think all of us here agree that defined sexualities just feels better as a player. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a bummer for a debate because we would want someone to be like, no, player sexual is the best. But I mean, it's clear like we all feel that same way because we all are getting the same thing out of it is that we feel like we're talking to a real person or something. It's more
That's
rich.
what I like about Inquisition is that, like, say you do, or even Andromeda, you do flirt with a certain character, and they tell you, like Gail or Sarah, they let you know right away, hey, I'm not down with that, and so you can, okay, well, let's change the dynamic, and we can be friends, or we can be frenemies. I appreciate that in those games, especially Sarah, because she's so she's so much, but once you start to get to know her, it's lovely that you can just romance her with the female. And most of my playthroughs, I've only romanced Sarah because she's just the best. I love that.
while Virvada was talking about Inquisition, I was going to be like, hey, let's keep the spoiler talk to a minimum because I still haven't finished Inquisition. And then I was like, well, I guess it's kind of on me for not having played this game that's been out for like 7 years. So
Yeah. How
And should
dare
on the
you?
count of 3, we all say it at the same time? 1, 2, 3. So here's your
your
fucking
fucking
spoiler
spoiler
alert.
facts.
Don't romance Solus. There you go.
I'm actually thinking about going Cassandra, but I don't know. I feel like I haven't gotten far enough into the game to really like decide that yet. But
There's so many good options.
But yeah, I was gonna, and maybe I think maybe a little bit later in the episode, I might go into villain Meiji moves where I try to do like a little devil's advocate thing here. But I was gonna say that to me, sometimes player sexual kind of feels like, because like I feel like the main, I guess, argument that someone would have for that is like, well, say there's an NPC that I really like on a platonic level. I think they're super interesting. I think their storyline is cool, whatever. And then you find out, oh, I can't romance them because I picked the wrong gender at the beginning or whatever. But then doesn't it kind of feel selfish to be like, well, I should be able to romance them. It's bullshit that I can't. You know what I mean? Or like forcing this NPC to like, you know what I mean? If the writers didn't intend for them to be romanced by a person of a specific gender, then that's kind of like, it just kind of is what it is. You know what I mean? It's just like real people, you know?
It's also for those of you, not you guys here, but in the audience who are pro modding for romance options. The thing that I think of is Dorian in Inquisition because he is extremely gay. And his whole backstory is how he left Tevinter Imperium because he is gay and they didn't want him to be. And if you just mod it so you can romance him as a female inquisitor, who is Dorian then? Like you removed a huge part of who he is and like what he's gone through. That's ridiculous. Like you can't do that. First of all, that's stupid. Just don't do that. Like Dorian is who he is because of what he's gone through, primarily for being gay. So if you take that away, I don't even know what you're getting out of that romance at that point. Stop sexualizing him. He's a person, right? That's what we want. We want rich individuals in our games.
Also, and I was going to say this too, because like I see a lot of times that people, like at the end of the day, these are RPGs, right? They're role-playing games. And the way a lot of people play RPGs is they play it like, I'm going to insert myself into this role, which is like a perfectly fine way to play the game. But at the end of the day, I think the purpose is to play a role, right? And just as you are like playing this role, all of the other characters in the game, all the NPCs are also playing roles, you know what I mean? And you have to kind of like, I don't know, sink into the story a little bit as opposed to like just being like, I want to romance them, so I'm gonna fucking cheat the system and mod it so that I can. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that so the only romance mod that I have used, I did an extended cut one for Mass Effect, which basically just adds a little bit more. So in Mass Effect 2, at the end of after you've done the end game mission, you can call your romance partner up to your room and you can sit with them on the couch, you can lie with them in bed, you can kiss them in front of the fish tank. What the mod did is that during the game before the end game mission, you can do that now. So that's one way that I modded romances to be more fulfilling, because now I can kiss Garrus whenever the fuck I feel like it. And then I did use the make Mass Effect 1 gay, where I could romance Caden as Broshep, because he's already canonically a gay option in Mass Effect 3, so I didn't feel that removing his straightness from Mass Effect 1 would be morally wrong. I don't know what to call that there. I was like, making Caden gay in 1, or I guess bi in 1, because FemShep could have done it too if I was playing as FemShep. I figured that one was okay.
Did they ever explain why that is, that in Mass Effect 1, Caden's not romanceable as a guy, but in Mass Effect 3 he is? Like, is there an in canon like explanation for that, or
They thought about it. I don't think they even thought about it back then.
no, I know,
They
but
should have did it
usually
for
if they
Legendary Edition.
right, yeah, exactly. Like they remastered the game. You'd think that I don't know, maybe they would add it in or whatever. But maybe it's just like Caden didn't realize he was into guys till later in his life. Who knows? I mean, but I just
I
figured
put
they would
losing
have
Chef
explained
with
that.
you.
I feel like BioWare just didn't realize when they made Mass Effect 1 how much people were going to want to romance, ever have a chance to romance as many characters as possible.
Right.
I actually have a thought on the Caden romance because I played through Mass Effect 3 both with my male shepherd and my female shepherd. My male shepherd romanced Miranda in 2, but then like didn't end up rekindling in 3. Because at least on console, if you start a romance arc with another character, it just doesn't give you the option to rekindle with Miranda, and then she can still live through the events of Mass Effect 3. So that's where I went with it. But the kind of in-canon thing for Caden becoming a gay romance option was that he'll have that conversation at Apollo's with a male shepherd where he says, you know, have you ever known me to be with anyone? And then he says, like, if I'm going to be with anyone, I want to be with someone that I respect and that I love and that I've served with, and that's you. And you have the option to then romance him as male shepherd. And that's also like another reason why I do like that they flexed him to make him gay for Mass Effect 3, because even as someone who romanced him as a female shepherd, going through that same romance as a different gender changed the meaning of that scene between the two shepherds. And I consider them two completely different romances because the implications are much sweeter, I think, even with the gay romance for Caden.
So, hot take here. I actually don't think Caden is gay or bi. I think he is a straight man who fell in love with another man based off of a deep friendship and level of respect, and got to the point where it doesn't matter your body type. I fell in love with you. And
Like that.
so I guess he would be Demi in that case. Falling in love with the personality and the person regardless of exterior features.
I relate hard to that. I like that.
Because I mean, there are defined sexualities with like Liara. I mean, technically Liara doesn't believe in gender, so she would be pan in my eyes. Because she can fall in love with anybody regardless.
That's what I am.
Fall in love with anybody. Regardless of what plumbing you have going on.
Back to Dorian. What's so funny with him, my first time going through playing as a female inquisitor, I didn't know that he wasn't I didn't know that he was gay. So, you could flirt with him the whole game. You get to his scene with his dad and he tells you everything, his backstory. And then at the end of it, he said, you could say, you kind of led me on. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I can stop flirting with you, and you can say, nah, don't you dare. I like that with their friendship, that even though, he's gay, he still has that bond with female inquisitor. And I really appreciate that. Even though y'all can't be together and he doesn't want to be with you, he still keeps that relationship with you. I really like that with Dorian.
I flirt with him every chance I get, and I always play female inquisitor because I love that so much. It's like one of my best friends is gay, and like we flirt all the time because it's not a sexual thing necessarily. It's just like hyping you up, and I just love that
Non-sexual flirting,
relationship.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just the kind of guy that Dorian is, and I love that. So I definitely encourage that every playthrough.
I love that Dorian tells me all the time, I love when you come to talk to me, but I also love watching you leave. And as he like his head tilts as he's watching my ass walk away, I'm like, I love you. Oh. So I think we should
He
head
found out the
into
same thing with the stranger. Oh, my bad.
Oh, I was gonna say I think that we should head into our mid break and thank our patrons and let some ads play for us. Lovely sponsors of the show. And then maybe when we get back, let's all play a little bit of devil's advocate and say what would the main arguments be for make everybody open to everything. So go ahead and think on that. All right, here we are at the mid break. It is time to thank our lovely, lovely patrons, most of whom are here with us tonight. I am an asshole and didn't pull up the information that I was going to pull up because I'm scatterbrained. Of course, I know that we need to thank Toasty and Apollo. And Toasty was supposed to be here tonight, but I think he showed up in chat for just a minute. I know. He also ditched me on Holocron today, which is like, what are you doing? Mama. Sorry,
Holy
guys.
shit.
2 more seconds. There we go. Captain Shanko, Apollo, Toasty, Win, Luke, Meiji Moose, Stone Mystios, The Cups. Fuck it. I'll just go down the whole list. Becky, Kathy, Muffiny Cake, Brew, and Cloudy. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for all of your support. I wish that I was better prepared for tonight, and I'm a jackass who made the whole screen go weird. Okay. And
Can y'all see
Lucifer
him?
has now joined into the chat. Oh, and we've got the scorpion who is underneath his log is also
Oh, it's
on
a
screen.
scorpion. I was trying to figure out what you had there, Stone Mystios. Hello, Lucifer. Love you forever and always. Gosh, you're brave. I've held tarantulas. I don't know if I could do scorpions, though.
See, I mostly use these rubber tongs if I want to interact with him, just to not get fucked up. But I'm surprised he didn't run away.
Oh, gosh.
Well, the stream has met Maya before. She is currently very, very happy that mom is home. I'm surprised she's not sitting on my lap.
You are
There's
brave for
zero
that
chance
sweet.
I could let a scorpion walk on me. I would run. There's no way.
Oh, I'd let
Yeah, I've never touched him. He's like 2, 3 years old now.
How long do scorpions live? Because I know some species of tarantula, male tarantulas only live like 6 months, and then the females can live like 20 years. It's crazy, crazy discrepancy.
I think when I got him, he's an Asian forest scorpion or Asian desert scorpion, one of those two. But I think they say he'll live for at least 7 years. So I've had him almost 3 now. And he hasn't actually gotten much bigger since I've gotten him. I feed him, twice a month, crickets and stuff, but he mostly just be sleeping all day. Only recently has he been like active, like moving around, doing stuff. So that's why when I went in there, he was out of his hole. I was like, oh, good. I ain't got to mess with you because I'll get them tongues and, you got to pull him by the tail. He'll get pissed off. He'll just be ready to attack them tongues. He's like, don't you mess with me, boy. So I was glad he's just chilling.
You're
We just
braver than I
celebrated.
am.
We just celebrated 4 years with Lucifer.
Oh, happy birthday, Lucifer. That's so cute. My gecko just turned 4 as well.
You let a tarantula walk on you. That's brave in my book. Because a
I was a
tarantula,
child.
no way, no way.
I was a braver child. I wouldn't do it now. Oh, and then when I went to a reptile convention when I lived in San Diego with my best friend Eileen, she held a scorpion, and then there was a lot of people selling giant centipedes, and I'm like, who is keeping this as a pet? Yeah, hell no. When I lived in Hawaii, they have centipedes there, and I was working out at the gym. I'm doing these bent over rows with these dumbbells, and this centipede just like wanders between my legs. I'm like facing the ground doing bent over rows, and I screeched. And the person who was in the gym, she came over, took a dumbbell and just started like beating it to death. And it was traumatic. I don't know. It wasn't that big, but it was big enough. That's what she said.
Okay, so we've thanked the patrons. We don't have any new reviews to read out. We did hit a milestone on Spotify the other day, though. We have 40 people who have left their little 5-star ratings. There's at least one person who gave us less than 5 stars. So that makes me sad. I know. We're at 4.9 out of 50 reviews. So, I mean, hey, I'll fucking take it, yo. Thank you to everybody who leaves ratings and reviews or comments, or is here in the live chat tonight. I see you. I love you. You're very much appreciated. So let's get back into it. All right. So who wants to play devil's advocate and fight for the other side of the argument, where everybody should be able to bone everybody?
I'll go first. We'll go back to Cyberpunk. I think that game should have had player sexual because it feels like you pretty much can romance everybody, but then they play games with you when you get to the romance part. Just take that out. Just let us romance everybody. Carrie, I was just doing a scene. We was on a boat. Everything we got close. Nah, I'm good, V. Fuck that. Let's kiss and fuck on the fiery boat. I think they should have did it in that game. Even even fucking what's her name? Pan Am. You get on the ship. What's the difference, girl? Put it in the same slot you did with Bro V and get it on in there. Wouldn't be no difference. My V, she had a penis. You could have still wrote it. Come on.
There's actually this that was something we were going to talk about in River's episode, but ended up not. There's an argument that Pan Am and River are actually not straight because they could romance. So, like, Pan Am can romance a V with male body but either voice, and River can romance female V body with either voice. And they're saying because they can have either voice, that means they're not totally straight. I disagree with that because the way I'm interpreting that is if they're saying that Pan Am's dating male body V with a female V voice, are we interpreting that as a trans man and that's why Pan Am's not straight? And yet that doesn't track because that would be a straight romance because it's a trans man, which is a real man, right? Like trans men usually identify as straight if they're dating a woman. So I don't see how the argument is that Pan Am and River are anything but straight, but I don't know. Like they didn't say why they thought that. They were just like, because you can change the voices, they're not straight. I'm like, well, this is on Gaming Mag, by the way, which I mean, they're the huge publication. I get that. I don't understand how this works. But yeah,
That
I think
doesn't
they're
make any
straight.
sense. I'm
Yeah.
with you. That makes no sense whatsoever.
I couldn't wrap my head
That's so
around it. I'm
weird
like, I
that
think
it's
the
like
voice thing is just a weird CDPR little thing they threw in there that doesn't do anything.
I think that's just cherry picking at that point. They're really reaching.
Meiji, you have opinions. I saw that reaction.
Okay, so little background on me. During high school, I took like half a semester of debate. And debate is all about being able to have one opinion that's like, your opinion, or maybe something you kind of agree with. And then there's something, like you're supposed to be able to come up with an argument for something that you completely do not agree with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, in the like 10 minutes since, the last time, the previous segment, I've just been like looking over stuff, trying to come up with a negative for this particular argument. And it feels like I'm drinking from a fucking fire hose because it's just like so much information is entering my brain. Here's the gist of what I understand to be like the argument, right? Is video games ultimately are fictional representations of worlds we would like to escape into, right? So in Mass Effect, we're escaping into a world where we can travel the stars and end galaxy killing threats. In Stardew Valley, the fantasy is, subverting capitalism by like owning property and like, getting in touch with nature and stuff, right? Doesn't it remove some of the fantasy of a video game to not be able to just like walk into a room and be able to romance potentially anybody that you want, right? Because ultimately these are worlds that we would like to in like particular video games where it's like you are destroying the concept of sexuality entirely by being able to like literally just romance whoever you want, right? It kind of erases that particular barrier.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a weak argument to me, but that is like the gist of what I got from like just the brief reading that I did online.
That's exactly what I got too. And I'm just like, if that's what you want out of a game, then you will be disappointed because some games have romance options with distinct sexualities. And they're like, but I want to never be disappointed ever when I play a game because I'm disappointed enough in real life. So I just want to escape and have everything be exactly how I want it and just be a god among mortals. And I'm like, okay, make your own game. I don't know.
And at that point, to me, it just feels like a weird like power fantasy to like, you can potentially just romance anybody. That's just like, I understand the fantasy of it, but it's just like it's not realistic. And ultimately, at least personally, I love when video games try to get like as realistic as possible, especially when it comes to like representation of other genders and sexualities and stuff. Like, let's not try to like erase all of that shit so that we can have this weird like power fantasy. I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Well, that might work for some people. Like if if you're a person whose ideal world, your fantasy world would be where you could be Brad Pitt in his prime, knowing you can walk down the street and everybody would sleep with you, male or female. I mean, maybe that's your thing, but I think that's not very many people. That's not the majority of people who that's not their fantasy world. Like that's not the world I want in a video game. But some people, I mean, if that's what they want.
So I think one of the arguments that I've heard that makes it so that way maybe player sexual would be a good option is for those people who are still searching and looking for their own sexual identity. If you can go into a video game, like I'll create this scenario. If I go into a video game and I'm playing as a female character and I want to test out what would it be like if I was in a relationship with a woman. Well, I find this character really I think I find this woman attractive. But now I can't romance her because she's straight. So somebody that I think I could safely explore my sexuality with in a video game setting, I can't do that because she's not attracted to me.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
real life,
there's
though.
games that exist for that purpose too, though. So it's like
Yeah.
maybe you can't romance that character, but I'm just debating the debate
Yep.
at this point.
Miss non-confrontational over here fighting with me. I love it.
Oh no.
No. I know. This is the
I
complete
I will.
hypothetical.
This is the hard
In
one to take the
person,
other
I
side
will
of.
deflate. On the internet
With
though.
with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that game actually helped me come to terms with my own pansexuality. I was in a relationship at the time, and it just at one point I just wasn't feeling her no more, and I couldn't figure it out. But then whenever I would escape to Odyssey, and I could just be with anybody, and I could explore how is it with flirting with this guy or flirting with these girls, and I don't know, it helped me figure myself out. And it wasn't until I played Mass Effect that I realized that, oh shit, these characters can be way more three dimensional than I figured. But I don't know, Odyssey, it really helped me figure it out. And I was able to get out of that relationship because it wasn't just her, but it was a lot. But I really, I'm glad that player sex will do exist. in some games. But I don't think every game should have it because it should be more realistic. Like even with back to Cyberpunk, I'm glad that it is realistic, but it's so far in the future. You would think that it wouldn't be as many just defined sexuality. You think more people would explore themselves in that far future. But the fact that it's not, that's all good. But I like that game set in the deep past. You don't have to worry about that because everybody they want to have sex with everybody. That's their whole thing. I like that.
I was just saying this to Daddy Bat Night in chat. It's like I don't think it matters so much in games like with Dorian, that's an extreme example because like he has a whole backstory that supports his sexuality, but like some romance options just don't. So like it doesn't matter if they have a sexuality or not necessarily. It's not really a part of the story. So then you could have a player sexual character and then or not even player sexual. What if they're just pan? And then that would work too.
Mhm.
So that I mean that could happen. I don't see why that wouldn't happen.
RP to Jack's pansexuality.
Mm. I don't want to talk about Jack's panness because that should have been put back in Legendary Edition. But what I was going to bring
It
up
really
was
should have.
in specifically in like these in space related games where we have alien species. Because I remember that I talked about this in the Garrus episode, and that was a big argument for why aren't at least the alien species in Mass Effect all bisexual? Because why the fuck would Garrus care if you have a vagina or not? You know, like it may be
People think
weird.
of that as a straight relationship. I'm like, he's a velociraptor, okay? Like that's not a straight relationship. Just because
Yeah,
he's
Ellie even
male.
said she would share her shoot with a female shepherd, but never does. Oh, just playing with our emotions.
sometimes it is kind of depressing when you like see or like are playing a piece of fiction that's like set so far in the future, and then it's like they're still getting bogged down in like oh, that person's gay or like that person's straight, and it's just like what, this is like
Only
500
one
years in the
relationship.
future. Or yeah, only one relationship or any of that shit. With Jack,
Yeah.
it's like, wait, so she's down with murder, she's down with like, she's down with high treason and like stealing starships and shit, but gay relationship, she's not down with that.
No,
She
she
just,
totally was though, and she still talks about it. She talks about her former throuple that she was in. She talks about her
that's
ex-girlfriend,
right.
but then you still made you touch my trigger button.
Oh,
But it's just like really that's
when
where
I read
she's
that,
drawing the
oh,
line.
I couldn't believe that they took it out the game.
Well, they removed hers, and then Jacob was supposed to be bi. Like, they had written the scene, they had blocked the scene, they had gotten it to the point where it was like, okay, here, let's move this forward and actually record dialogue and animate it. And then they're like, oh, wait, maybe that doesn't fit.
They was gonna
Why?
cheat on you.
Well, I don't care if. Okay.
I'm just gonna blame Fox News. But also only because I know that they were the reason that Liara was like they got so mad at her sex scene in the first game. And a lot of people were like, oh, clutching pearls. His hot blue alien. It's not like they didn't all grow up watching freaking Star Trek, but whatever. Um, so I'm assuming that's why they cut Jack content, because that backlash from Liara's sex scene in the first game.
We'll see what they do with Mass Effect 4 because we're in a different place now than we were in 2010, 13. So we'll see what they do with 4. I mean, we're way more. I mean, this country is trying to regress in a lot of ways, but we're still far more progressive in this area than we were 10 years ago, like light years compared to what we were 10, 15 years ago.
Apollo was about to be like, this country's way more progressive, and then he was like, oh wait.
Well, it still is, but we've got a segment trying to regress.
I agree though.
Yes, I will be. Oh, okay. So since we all have played Mass Effect and we are all eagerly aware. You've played Mass Effect, right? Right. Okay.
All four.
All right. Duh, we just talked about Andromeda like 2 minutes ago. Wow. Why am I the squirrel today? I need to change my background. That's what it is.
Am I normally the squirrel?
Why did we swap brains?
Oh no.
Oh no, not good.
Two girls, one dog.
In Mass Effect 4, do you want defined sexualities or should you be able to romance anybody? We don't know what your player character is going to be like. We don't know what species, what gender, what anything related to it. But who do you want your romance options to be?
I want to stay defined, so it gives me a reason to play it over and over again to experience romances. But I would like, and we've talked about it in here before, for them to culminate the romances sooner, so that you're actually in the romance during the game instead of just here it is, very end of the game. Now finish the game.
Yes.
Would it solve any issues if, like, in the next Mass Effect game, like, yeah, you can play as male or female or whatever, or maybe there's just like an agender option, which is like, you know, like you're doing character creation, and you're like, I don't want to select a fucking gender, and then during the course of the game, maybe that's how you solve it, and like, yeah, you really can romance anybody because you don't have a gender. You know what I mean? Anybody could be attracted to you. Does that fix anything?
Yeah. Or a romance option could be agendered or pansexual, you know? Like I still want defined sexualities, but that doesn't mean I want just lesbian, gay, bi, you know? Let's expand a little bit. I want a harem.
Yes.
Can I have that?
Polyamory.
Tyler?
That's what I want in ME4.
Turn
Yeah.
the Normandy into a harem, goddammit. it.
Please.
Like Jacob's
Please.
daddy did. That boy is crazy.
Okay. They were, but but our harems, you'll be allowed to leave. If you don't want to be in it anymore, you can leave. Like, I'm not holding you here hostage, feeding you poisoned food. Like, that's no.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
consent
man
is sexy.
wild for his family.
Mhm.
I would like more options, more bi characters, more pan, still straight, but like where we don't got to worry about you starting to get with somebody else coming in the room jealous. Like, take that shit out. Like, let us, like, that's what I like with Cyberpunk. You can be with both Judy and fucking River. Like, and V doesn't tell neither one. V is like, hey, I'm gonna keep this to myself. Yeah, I'm with you, River, but I'm over at Judy's right now. Hope that the next game have where you don't got to be in one relationship. You can be in at least a couple
Mm-hmm.
and not get caught up.
And I want a relationship, like what Apollo was saying. Just, I don't want this to be, we're friends, I'm earning your trust and loyalty, and then we have sex, and then that was it. It's over. I want a relationship. Like, come on. That's what felt so good about whoever you romanced in Mass Effect, because you had 3 games to kind of have a relationship with them. I still didn't get my sex scene with Garrus, well, whatever. You know, I want that in Mass Effect 4 or 5, depending on how you're counting.
Andromeda was not part of the original trilogy. The continuation of the trilogy is Mass Effect 4. That's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. Fuck
But
you,
it
hot
is
take.
the 5th Mass
It is
Effect.
Mass Effect.
Mhm. That I was to say, it depends on how you're defining Mass Effect game.
I am
count it.
a Mass Effect 5 true believer, and I will not be swayed on this position.
All right, I'm ME4,
with you,
so
Plus, if they incorporate Andromeda lore into this next game, it has to be 5. Should it not be?
See,
no,
If they're
because Mass
I would hope
Effect
that the next
Andromeda is
game.
not Mass Effect.
I hope
If
they
Mass
Yeah,
Effect
Mass
Andromeda,
Effect, it's Andromeda. It's its own thing.
if Mass
I
Effect
hope that they
Andromeda was Mass
combine
Effect 4, they would have called it Mass Effect 4 Andromeda.
Well, wasn't people calling it Mass Effect 4 back when they was making it? Like, we can't call the next one Mass
True.
Effect 4 2. There was
True.
already a Mass Effect 4.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait for Mass Effect 4. They wasn't saying.
Chronologically, Mass Effect 4 might take place before Andromeda.
That's fair.
What do you
I don't
guys in
know if the
Twitch
name's
chat?
got anything to do with it.
What do you guys think in Twitch chat?
Oh, I know. I don't think it
By
matters.
by that logic, then explain the Assassin's Creed numbering system.
I was just about to say Dragon
come
Age,
on.
Assassin's Creed, like
Do that.
it
What's the
still
next
got
Dragon
Mass
Age?
Effect
Dragon
in
Age
front.
2?
Like we want 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, 4 with Assassin's
True
Creed.
that. True that. Oh,
So
man.
So what even
that
is a
proves my
number?
point.
What is a
That proves
numerical
my point,
system?
Shanko. If you can have games in between and then go back to Assassin's Creed 4, then this would still be Mass Effect 4 because you can have Assassin's Creeds in between and then continuation with the series.
I'm so glad I started this war.
I would hope that the
Well,
next game
like debate the other
combines
thing. So we'll
the
debate this.
timeline.
Mm.
Hope they combine the timelines where it's like the end of Mass Effect 3, you know, everything's destroyed it if you did the destroy ending. And I hope it doesn't pick up right after that. Like, I hope that, hey, it's been 600 years. They've done rebuilt the galaxy. And, hey, they've been able to contact their descendants or ancestors in Andromeda now. And, you know, the galaxies are able to, you know, at least communicate. I hope that that bridge has been built. I would hope that it's not just 100 years after Mass Effect 3. I hope it's give us 700 years later, and what's the new galaxy that we can explore or galaxies? I would hope that that's what they're going for, not just a continuation of 3, but a push into the future.
That's what I would hope too. That's exactly what I want. They could do it. They had the technology in Mass Effect Andromeda. They're saying they had that special Geth
Yeah, they're
telescope to see, instead of
exactly.
seeing light years, 600 light years in the past or whatever, they're seeing the present. And, they could theoretically have built a relay in Andromeda by then and instantaneously travel between Milky Way and Andromeda now. Who freaking knows? We
They
know they're
said
going
they
to be
were
building
sending
relays.
messages. Yeah,
We know
said they
because
were
of
sending
the
messages to their descendants.
exactly. I hope.
This sounds
This
like
is
a
kind
Mass
of the
Effect Lorecast Patreon topic, not not true.
I know. And if that happens, then I guess, I want more Vetra content.
Mm.
Just
Amen.
please.
Man, her dinner is the best. She's so adorable.
This is kind of the double-edged sword of being a Mass Effect fan right now, is that we know so little about the next game that, like, on one hand, it's kind of a bummer because it's like, we don't know what the hell the next game's going to be about. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, there's kind of unlimited potential in that of a galaxy of possibility, or two galaxies of possibilities, really.
Yeah.
So,
2 galaxies of romances.
Yep. I want a Krogan romance.
And maybe they'll let the
Finally.
shipmates romance each other. I wouldn't mind that either. If the shipmates
I like
hooked up.
that in Mass Effect 2. Yeah. With Tali and Garrus, they can get together. That's adorable.
and Kasumi and Jacob, which is
Yeah.
doomed star-crossed.
They can have each other. I'm
I would
sad
love
that
to
I
have
can't
it.
give Garrus to Tally. Sorry.
Tali.
Sorry, Tally. Can I date both of them? That's my question.
I just want to. I will support player sexuality if I can get my Atom Smasher romance.
We're gonna smash that thing.
I will never let you live this down.
Good. I don't want to live it down. I own it completely.
I think
Mash.
the
I don't
only
want him,
thing
I want
human
Johnny.
on him at the end of the game is his eyes.
He
Maybe.
looks kind of bad though.
Atom Smasher must smash.
It's in his
With
name.
Johnny, I got to the part where I was actually nice to him in this playthrough, and he saved you when you passed out for one of the missions, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna have to pay you back one day." He's like, "I'm gonna hold you to that." And she says, "You were thinking about sex, wasn't you?" He's like, "It wouldn't matter. We'd just be masturbating anyways." I was like, "Oh shit, that's weird as fuck," but they should do
What? I
it.
never
They should
heard
totally do it.
that.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
it's
gonna
like
have to look
after
that up.
it's like after you pass out and he takes you to Pacifica, and then you wake up with the pills in your hand. It's like that scene. If you're like nice to him, and then one of the parts you say that shit, he's like, "Yeah, we just be masturbating." I'm like, what? Y'all should do that. Hell yeah, y'all should do that shit. He could get naked. His freaking digital stuff. Y'all could do it.
Is Pacifica the area where you go and like break into the mall and shit? Is that same area? That was to me like the most memorable part of the game.
I love
I
the
lo-
part where
Yeah,
you
you got to
carry
fight
the roller
I
coaster.
forgot. You
I
hate
didn't know you could
Yeah,
ride a
Cyberpunk.
roller coaster.
I'm a
Princess asked me
Cyberpunk
about
hater,
that.
bro. But I did love that part. That segment of the game was awesome.
Sorry, I'm messing around with settings and shit. I'm listening to you guys debate. I love it.
I just feel like Johnny would be the best sex partner ever because he would know exactly what to do because he was in your brain. Either V, doesn't matter. He would know.
Oh, hey.
I mean, you get
Something
an
tells
idea
me
when
Johnny is a
Johnny has
selfish
sex with
lover.
Alt.
I like that idea.
I don't want to
Fair.
he hate fucked Alt though. I don't want to do that. I want him to like me, but I don't know if he likes anybody besides himself.
I'm okay with that.
So
I'll hang
says
up a
the
mirror
person who
for him.
wants
It's
to
fine.
smash Adam Smasher, of course.
I don't think you're going to get a loving, sensual sex scene with Johnny. That's just not Johnny.
Me?
I mean, I also I wanted to jump off. I wanted that burning yacht scene. I even as like a platonic friend with Carrie wanted to jump naked off that yacht with Carrie. I feel like Carrie is weird enough and he could be your gay best friend enough where he would be completely fine with platonically jumping naked off of that burning yacht. I really do.
I mean, you could have just taken off all your clothes before that scene, and then you could just jump off naked.
I thought about that too when I was doing it. I was like, nah, yeah, I'll just be naked and weird.
Oh my god. That's yeah, no, I think that that's how you should run it. Going into that mission,
Just go naked.
Just go in naked.
They don't react. I've gone naked in that game and just walked around. Nobody even reacts. Very disappointing. I wanted people to react to me, and nobody even noticed.
Because I romanced
got with
River
the
and I was in
joy
nothing but a tank top. And his sister comes in and is like, fix my generator. And I'm like, my vagina's out. No one said nothing about that. I went to open up my menu and I just see her and her vagina. And I'm like, oh no, I've been walking around like this.
I got with the Joy Toys at Dark Matter earlier. I didn't even know they was there. And then, finished it and I was headed out to my bike and seen her get on the bike. I was like, why is her top off? And I looked, I was like, just balls naked. I was like, girl, put some clothes on before you walk out this building. How do you just come out naked? Getting on a motorcycle. I was like, she'll never be naked out of any other scene, but them Joy Toys took all her clothes.
This is something that annoys me actually about Cyberpunk. When you are naked and you can see your nakedness in the inventory, if you look down at your body, you can't see it. You got your undies on. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why? You show it every other time. Why when I look down, in the shower too? I'm like, clothed in the shower. Stop it.
Tell me again why I should replay this game.
Because the story is amazing.
The story is good.
awesome.
The combat is good.
Beautiful.
I'm trolling. Not to be the person that's gonna railroad us back onto the topic, but I'm reading a little bit more in this thread, and somebody brings up the point that when it comes to RPGs, you can, like I'm thinking like Dragon Age Origins, basically, like you can select your class, right? You can select fighter, mage, rogue, whatever you want, right? And there's no pressure to sort of like stick to or like force people to play as a class that they don't want, right? But the point that gets brought up in this thread is when it comes to sexuality, then there's somehow this like pressure to you know what I mean, like have people stick to a regimented thing, you know what I mean? Whereas with a lot of other games, you get to like choose a lot more aspects of who your character is, Does determined sexuality remove an element of player choice to any of you? I don't know. I'm trying to milk this thread for all it's worth.
Oh, no. And I mean, those are kind of the points that that I have seen and that I've heard brought up, it's like, if I'm allowed to choose everything else about who I interact with and how I interact with them, especially in like I've got 7 different dialogue selections to talk to you, and I can choose exactly how you and I have our interactions, and sometimes I can even guide the way that you respond to me based off of my own charisma level or my own charisma level. Why can't I use that same bardic charisma to get in your pants? You know,
Right.
I think we've kind of hit all the big major topics. Like, I don't know if there's much more that we can discuss about this because we all kind
You
of feel the
debunked
same
every
way.
one of them.
Yeah. And that's why we tangented so hard. So let's go around the room. Let's shout out all the things that we have going on. Let's show the love and how our patrons, or not our patrons, you are the patrons, how the listeners can get a hold of you. Paulo, where can we find you?
I'm Apollo on the Discord. I'm not a creator, so I don't really have anything going on. Just my summer vacation is over in 2 days. Back to work.
Oh, that face.
I was
Are
about
you
to
on
say,
Twitter at
you've
all?
slowly gotten a beard going over the summer.
Oh, I trimmed it. I didn't shave for like a month, but I couldn't handle it anymore.
Janko, I know you have fun stuff going on. And now you have a bird.
I do have my bird. He was in there making a ruckus when I put the snake back up. I'm Captain Shenko. I'm one half of the MCU Lorecast. Our shows come out on Monday. So if you're into Marvel Comics, comic history, or the Marvel films, come check us out.
Highly, highly support the show. I seriously, I've listened to all 4 episodes now, and am eagerly awaiting the next one. I love the dynamic that you and Psych are building together. You guys are starting to learn how to bounce off of each other and just continue the conversation. And I love his breakdown of the comics. I love your input from growing up at the different stages and watching all the movies and reading the comics and then dissecting the fight scenes. I think you guys really have a unique take on it, that I haven't seen. And it's not like you're not okay. Y'all aren't snobby about it. Like, okay, so if you didn't know the fact that in that in Article 72 of this one comic book that nobody else ever read, and that if you didn't know that, then you're not really that big of a fan. So I don't think you should be listening to the show if you didn't already know that. Like, I feel like that's sometimes how it can be if you're walking into a fandom that you know very little about. Or, I mean, yeah, I've watched all the MCU movies, but I didn't read any of the comic books. I know nothing of the external media beyond that stuff. And you guys break it down to the point where it is approachable. And you both are approachable. So,
Yeah,
yay.
we had discussed early on that, with the format of our show being a show where it's a female led and then also has a male voice attached to it. It's kind of unique and it's not really done in the same sphere. Like, I think we are the only show that consistently has one male and one female host.
And the fact that
And
you
one of
guys
the
aren't a
things,
couple on top of that. Like, I've seen like a
yeah.
husband-wife duo. No, y'all are just friends.
And one of the things too that we're always super careful about, and one of the things that Psych brought up early on was like he never wanted to sound like he was mansplaining to me. And I really enjoy kind of the dynamic that we're starting to build. And if anyone wants to come see, please watch. And we're really really happy with how things are going. So, and we were happy to have you on, and we want to have you on again soon. So
I'll come back. I promise. And it'll be longer than a 5-minute pre-record that I had to throw at you. But circumstances. So. All right. Miss Theos.
I'm Stone Mystios on Twitter. Uh, that's all I really be on. I don't do too much social media, but I listen to all y'all podcasts, the MCU one, all the Robots Radio. I'm listening to all that stuff. But I'll be playing the game still. I got like a week and a half left. Summer vacation's over. Gotta shave soon and be ready for work, which sucks, but that's where you can find me at.
All right. And you're also in our Discord chats, right? Yep, you're in there too. So
Yes, I'll be on there as well.
find you on Discord or on Twitter. You always retweet us, and I appreciate that. We have another podcast to add to the who you should be listening to, Mr. Stormcast Media.
Ooh, okay, okay.
My name is Meiji Moose. I do content allegedly, not really that much anymore, but I occasionally upload on YouTube and stuff. I also do stuff on Twitch, and then I do a podcast called the Storm Sorcerer Podcast, where I talk about nerd shit and occasionally politics, and it gets heated. But there's only one person on the podcast, and it's me, so it just gets heated with myself. So if that sounds interesting to you, check out Storm Sorcerer Podcast.
Can I come argue with you about Adam Smasher?
You are more than welcome to. I was also going to ask if I could get your opinion, maybe after the show or something, but on the San Diego Comic-Con stuff that just happened, and we got a bunch of MCU stuff. I'm sure you guys talk about it on the podcast, but yeah, definitely down to get your input on that.
Oh, wait, hold on. Does that make you a master debater if you can sit there and debate yourself on stream? Debate yourself on stream? Meiji, maybe I should be tuning into the live.
I'll debate you. I don't know about what. I was not on the debate team. I just have a twin sister and a lot of opinions.
Oh, I can debate forever. I can have a 20-minute debate with myself where I change my own mind.
That's good, though. I do that too sometimes. Sometimes. We still need to come on your podcast, Meiji. Now that maybe we'll be able to schedule that. Finally.
The door is always open for y'all, of course.
Yeah. We will talk scheduling right after we do. Yeah, we will talk scheduling because I'm ready to get back into it, like back into the full swing of things. I want a guest. I want to guest host. I want to be back in a sense of normalcy. So I guess I can give a little bit of updates before we sign out of the show for tonight with how my little boo is doing. Medically, she has been determined to be stable. So that is another big step towards recovery. What we do know is that it is going to take a couple more months is what we're looking at for her to fully recover from the trauma of having a golf ball in your brain and then it being removed. And then there were complications post-op. So it is going to take a lot more time for me to quote get my kid back. So if there aren't any major updates, there aren't any major changes. It is a very slow paced of waxing and waning moments of awakeness. And by awakeness it means she can for about, 10 to 15 seconds open her eyes on her own. She can occasionally respond to, will you squeeze my hand? And she can actually squeeze and then let go. But what this means is that, and it keeps growing and growing and growing, but then there are some days where it's just like, hey, can you squeeze my hand? And it will be a very weak attempt at it. And so we've got days like that, but we've also got days where, hey, can you lift your arm up? And her whole arm will come up. So it is a very, very long journey, but we do know that she's still in there. She still responds and reacts to all of our voices. There's a lot more head movement going on and yawning, which is a big indicator that her brain wants her to wake up because yawning is a biological response to, let's wake up. Ugh. So we know that she's trying. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Thank you. And I do read all the messages that you guys have sent me. And I'll open up the floodgates. I just may not respond to all of them. So because seeing that there are a lot of people out there who are sending their love, their support, their, hey, I thought about you today, seeing that, even if I read it because I hate notifications on my phone. So I look through all of them and then I'll like swipe them away and be like, okay, I'll respond to it later. And that's why I forget to respond to a lot of people, but I hate seeing it on my phone. So I always swipe it away. And I promise one day I'll get back to it. Never happens. Rambling. Once I get talking about her, I start to ramble. But if you send messages, I will read them. I will take it to heart, and then I may one day respond to it. Other than that, and the way that you can reach out to me is by following us on all the social medias at Two Girls One Ship. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on patreon.com/Two Girls One Ship. We are on the Robots Radio Discord. We have a channel in there, and we also have our own channel, our own Discord server, Two Girls One Ship. Find me as Jennasis all over the place.
And me too, except it's Virvada, not Jennasis. I'm on Discord and Twitter. So yeah, come if you don't for some reason want to message Jen, you can message me and I can pass it along to her. Or not. I mean, I'm not very good at social media. So, but I'm there. I'll see it. Thank you for all of your support. And thank you, Jen, for still keeping on this with me because I know it's not easy. I mean, I don't know, but I can imagine a little bit. And I'm grateful that you want to because this is so fun. And I hope it at least is giving you some fun too.
Oh yeah. No, talking with you on our episodes is absolutely amazing, and it's like it is a way to kind of relieve the stress because it's like it's a video game. That is my escapism. That always has been ever since I was a little kid. And now that we are grown-ups, I don't know who gave us that title. Still diving into these video games, and now I'm looking at it in a whole new way and just learning and loving, and it's amazing, and I am so happy that I have you as my partner in this. I love you.
Love you too.
All right.
Prayers up for you and your baby.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thoughts, prayers, support, good vibes, energy out into the universe. Anything that you believe in, I will take it and I will have it enter my heart and I will share it with her. Yeah. So, thanks for listening. And remember,
Beauty is in the eye of the controller. Bah, 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 bah. Always got to make an awkward sound. And we're out. Yay.
Got a little choked up there at the end. Jesus, Jen.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I do
I meant
appreciate
me.
the
I
updates.
was getting a little choked up at the end.
Oh.
Just because his friendship is so adorable and cute, and the power of love and friendship should never be underestimated.
I just can't wait to actually like hug you in real life because we've never met in person. It's crazy. It's crazy because I talk to you every day pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
and every at least hours a week, and it's just weird to not. Yeah. Tell us about your bird, Shenko.
This is Mac. He's
Hello, Mac.
Sir. That is my drink.
He is sir.
Sir. He's a green cheek conure, and he's like 10 years old, and he's a feather plucker, which is why he's all scruffy like this. But he's really gotten a lot better because see the red feathers on his belly? He plucked all those out, and we've gotten him to stop enough that they can come back. He's also like really funny, and I'll see if he'll do it. He's a bit weird in new rooms, and he's not in here very often, but
Upside down bird. Love it.
Ooh, that's a little flip.
step up.
So cute.
I'm just glad I was able to make it tonight. Ooh.
Yes, thank you. Finally.
I
We
swear
are
those
going
other
to.
times I was getting high, I was drinking, and then next thing I know, I look, I'm like, ah shit, I missed it. But okay, next time I got it. Then June hit, same thing, getting high, getting drunk. Look, I was like, God damn, I'll forget again. And then finally
Friday
I
night.
looked at that thing and was like, I was like, all right, I gotta figure out what's the time zone. Since I'm in Texas, I think it's central zone, whatever. So I
I'm
had to
central.
find my alarm. Find set my
Yeah,
alarm to about 9:30 ish here, so then I could finally be catching y'all episodes recently. But I was like, all right, no drinking, and I started drinking tonight, and then I seen a notification. Like, damn, I was like, it's drinking tonight. Okay,
you could just
quit
start
drinking,
during
nigga.
the
Quit
episode.
drinking.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
we
was
do.
like, I drink on this show all the time. Shit.
Hmm.
I was prepping for the end game so I could be blasted enough where like, all right, I'm gonna be stressing, dying. Let me get lit, and then I could fuck shit up. And then I send y'all notifications like 25 minutes. I was like, oh, nah, put it down, bro, put it down, and we'll wait.
That's awesome. Nope, just wine for me. I drank 2 glasses today, though. Getting crazy over here.
Ooh.
So, no.
I don't know if being drunk and high is going to get you through that end of Cyberpunk.
That's why I'm glad I didn't get no weed. I was like, I was gonna, but I was like, you know what? I'll wait. I'll hold off this month. I'll just get some beer. And so I was drinking. And then I was like, yo, let me just hold off. And now I'm about done with it. So I should be level just enough to fight all those MS in there. I don't even know how long it's gonna be. I'm still in the lobby. I don't know what else is in there.
I don't
It's
know
a
what
pretty
happens if
decent
you
fight.
actually don't die.
I
I didn't
think
die.
that
It's about a 20-minute fight of just fighting your way forward.
Can you
because
save some? Like,
because you
can you
can't
just?
heal.
No, once not in that thing, you got to do it. You either do it or you
Yeah.
don't.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
I remember when I first died, and then you get to the end credits, and oh my god, everybody freaking out that you committed suicide, and I'm sitting there like, oh damn. You get the Judy scene, the Vic scene. I was like, oh, this sucks. I was like, I don't want to do
Mhm.
this no more. This is sad. The Judy
Yeah.
broke me. Oh man, I was like, this is awful.
Oh. Well, I'm in Central Time too, and I'm also a child, so dog, hold on, wait. I was about to say bye, but then you got your dog. That is a Pembroke or a Cardigan Corgi.
She's a Australian Shepherd Corgi
Well, I'm
mix.
wrong. Corgi mix, there we go.
Cowboy corgi.
Cowboy Corgi.
Cowboy Corgi.
So cute. My friend
Friend
I've
Joy.
known since kindergarten, she's got a Pembroke Corgi, and he's a tricolor like that. His name is Toby, after Toby from Sweeney Todd, and he's adorable. I love him so much. Corgis are the best. All dogs are the best. I'm babysitting my neighbor's 2 dogs. He's got a red heeler and a German Shepherd, and they're amazing. So cute. They're at his house though, because I have my own dog and cats, so I could not bring those 2 here. They are rowdy.
Hey,
Okay, now I'm going
all right.
sleepy.
So I will go ahead and end the live stream now. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I think in the chat we mainly had, let's see, Win, Toasty, Win, Daddy Bat Night, and then it's
And me.
Bat and V going back and forth, and a little
Yep.
bit more of Win. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight, guys, and we will see you next time. Wednesday, I should be streaming Cyberpunk. The next Cyberpunk stream should be Wednesday the 3rd.
I'll be watching it.
See you then.
I'm on my 7th playthrough.